Howdy, Heroes Hearth. Kyle Fergusson here from Into the Nexus podcast. I'm here to talk to you about reworked GAZLOWE, Bruiser GAZLOWE, no longer melee assassin GAZLOWE, and certainly no longer worth it pushing a single lane GAZLOWE. This guy has lost his mana, he has gained self-regen, and an ability to greatly impact team fights. It's only been 2 weeks, but the build has locked in. There is wiggle room in it, but if you're looking to play GAZLOWE, I've got a great starting point for you. GAZLOWE was part of the alpha. He has been in this game since we've been able to play it. In 2016, he received a large overhaul to his talents, most of which were about modernizing him, removing those generic talents like First Aid, Stone Skin, Fury of the Storm. His first big rework was back in 2017, where he gained the ability to focus turrets. Because of his lack of self-regen, self-healing, during the Hero Roles expansion in March 2019, he was labeled as a melee assassin. Now, in September of 2020, they have given him that self-heal, and they attached it to his Death Laser. He still has the turrets, he still has the Explodium charge, but they're quite different than the way they were. Old GAZLOWE had about a 4% pick rate in drafted environments. New Bruiser GAZLOWE is seeing about an 8% pick rate, so we can call this rework a success, even if the old school GAZLOWEs are a little upset that they're not turret towning anymore, at least not to the extent they were. The biggest change experienced GAZLOWEs are going to be feeling is the new trait, which replaced the mana, Scrap. Reduce, Reuse, Recycle generates scrap every 4 seconds, and you can still destroy turrets as you used to regain scrap. The only thing you spend that on is rocket turrets, which are dealing about half the damage they were, and have half the duration. Death Laser and Explodium Charge are now completely free. Death Laser had its damage increased by about 27%, and now heals for 25% of the damage dealt, 75% against heroes. It's still a channeled ability, you just can't redirect it. Explodium Charge had its damage reduced by about 33%, but is now activating a lot faster, but at a shorter range. The stun duration was also decreased to 1 second, rather than 1.75. So what we have here is a huge power pie shift of GAZLOWE's power from raw damage into self-sustainability. GAZLOWE has always had an amazing auto attack. In fact, this thing is 1 less damage than Rainer's auto attack. So a lot like Stukov, you're weaving in abilities, but whenever possible, you're gonna get a big ol' smack in with that melee auto. But this means GAZLOWE doesn't have the best lane clear in the world. It's okay, and because of the reduced damage on the turrets, the reduced duration, GAZLOWE's not gonna be winning a lot of prolonged 1v1 fights like some of our other bruisers. In fact, GAZLOWE's a lot more like Thrall. You're going to hold a solo lane, you're gonna do okay at it, you probably won't die, you'll keep your health up. But he's about rotating for team fights whenever possible. And this is because the huge cooldown reduction that happened on Gravel Bomb at 10. Gravel Bomb is now a 60-second cooldown. GAZLOWE mans a lane, takes care of Soak, but every 60 seconds participates in a team fight with an amazing wombo combo. So let's talk about the particular build that'll make you a GAZLOWE main. Level 1, Rocket Boots. Increase the cast range of Explodium Charge by 30% and its damage by 20%. Hitting an enemy hero increases movement speed by 20% for 3 seconds. Now on the surface, this is a perfectly fine Explodium Charge talent. Getting that bonus range can be extremely helpful in participating in combats if you're being zoned out, which is actually GAZLOWE's biggest weakness. But the real power here is part of that power pie mentioned earlier. GAZLOWE has an amazing auto attack. Giving him 20% movement speed is going to mean you're delivering more auto attacks, more damage, and not dying doing so. At level 4, Hyper Focus Coils. Heroes hit by Death Laser or Explodium Charge take an additional 2% of their maximum health in damage. GAZLOWE is healed for 150% of the damage dealt. This is a double whammy. First off, it's going to help you out in the solo lane, which at level 4 could still be happening on certain maps. But it's also going to help you out in team fights, particularly in terms of the massive amount of healing you're going to get with that 150% of damage dealt back as health. As a melee bruiser, you'll be interacting with the enemy tank and the enemy bruiser, who are perfect to hit with this 2% maximum health as damage. And a level 4 giant killer is pretty darn impressive. Now in terms of the massive wombo combo, we're looking at Master Blaster. Death Laser and Explodium Charge slow by 35% for 2.5 seconds. Rocket turrets can increase the duration of the slow, and that's a nice feature. But it's mostly about hitting a slow that is going to interact with the Explodium Charge already under their feet. Right now your combo is EW. Explodium Charge on E into a Death Laser. That little spike of slow can help you land the stun. Now in terms of raw win rate and spammability, Overload is winning out. Death Laser can now store 2 charges. Each enemy hero hit by Death Laser reduces its cooldown. But let's talk about that wombo combo. Gravel Bomb 3000. After a 1.5 second delay, pull enemies towards the center of an area and deal 326 damage at the level 10 value. Basic abilities deal 30% more damage for 5 seconds after casting Gravel Bomb 3000. Our combo is now REW. R-E-W. Start with the Gravel Bomb, lay out the E underneath it, charge up a laser, and strike them all. And you're striking with 30% increased spell power. That Gravel Bomb suck is leading into a stun, which is leading into a slow, all delivering a massive wombo combo of damage. Now 13 has pretty good talent diversity here. People are picking things for personal choices, but with this wombo combo based build, we're looking at overcharged capacitors. GAZLOWE gains 5% spell power for each active rocket turret, up to a maximum of 15. It's 3 turrets. Dealing basic attack damage extends the duration of rocket turrets by 1.25. So you might get to enjoy a little bit of the fantasy of hanging out in a sea of turrets. Mostly what you're going to do is head towards the team fight you want to be womboing and drop your turrets along the way. And as you approach, you'll finally get the scrap for that last rocket turret to make it a total of 3 for the 15 spell power. At 16, Arc Reactor is our big winner talent here, going up to a 60% win rate, with our other 2 options being at about 47% win rate. On the surface, it's fun, but doesn't seem very impactful. Reduce the cooldown of Explodium Charge by 3 seconds. Casting Explodium Charge creates 3 miniature rocket turrets that last for 3 seconds. The big change in this rework and why those 3 mini turrets are so valuable is because turrets prioritize the nearest enemy hero when first created. These turrets provide a lot of bonus damage when they arrive on the field. And since we're all about that ability damage, we want these tiny numbers flying to increase our overall impact. At 20, Miniature Black Hole is winning out. Increased Gravel Bomb 3000's radius by 25% and its damage by 50%. Each enemy hero pulled reduces the cooldown by 12 seconds. Here, if we perform our full REW combo on these target dummies, we're going to go straight down to a 10-second cooldown. So here we have our main build. If that sort of bruiser has you excited, let's talk about his viable maps. Towers of Doom, Garden of Terror, Alterac Pass, Hanamura Temple, all these maps with clear objectives that call for big team fights are excellent for our wombo combo GAZLOWE. He's actually struggling in our big 3-lane maps where he's extremely spread out and going to be isolated, unable to rotate and join those breakout team fights. And he isn't going to win those prolonged fights against many of our bruisers we run on these maps, like Rexxar, Chen, and Malthael. It can also be very easy to force this short-range bruiser out of the pit on Infernal Shrines. He is weak to Raynor and Tassadar. But the flip side to that, as you might expect, is that he's doing really good into teamfight bruisers. He might be the best one of them. He's beating out Ragnaros, Blaze, Thrall, even Imperius. His level 4 Giant Killer is also extremely impactful into the likes of Diablo, Stitches, and May. And if you have a low mobility healer like Anduin or Alexstrasza, they are absolutely going to get caught inside his wombo combo, and they're not going to be able to do anything about it. All of this leaves new GAZLOWE sitting right in the middle of our bruiser win rates. He's not as good as those map particular picks like Rexxar, Deathwing, Zool, Chen, or even the new Diva. His win rate's actually gone down, which is to be expected with so many new people checking him out. You should also not take a hint if he's good or not from Quick Match, because being labeled as Bruiser, he might be the only frontline, the only tank for a team who's having to go up against Imperius, or Varian, or Urel, heroes that can absolutely take a lot more damage than GAZLOWE. This 3-button combo is not hard to pull off. It is impossible to interrupt because they're actually ground-based effects. Give it a couple of goes in try mode and you will have this thing down very, very quickly. Good luck out there, new GAZLOWE mains. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe here at Heroes Hearth for more educational content for Heroes of the Storm. Ring that bell as well, and I'll see you all next week.